Christ is risen. He is risen indeed, and how that changes everything for us. You heard the familiar story, how the women went out to the tomb that Sunday morning, going there with all of their grief, carrying spices. Their friend, their Savior, had died, and they were going to say their final farewells as they completed the burial process. But when they got to the tomb, everything was wrong. The tomb had been opened. The soldiers were gone. As the women timidly walked inside, they found two men dressed in white who told them, "You're looking for Jesus of Nazareth. He is not here. He has risen. See the place where he lay." And as the women then left the tomb, whom did they find but Jesus himself? And they grabbed hold of him. They were so excited to see their Savior fully alive there in the flesh. And what final message did they get from the angels and from Jesus? They should go and tell others. That evening, Jesus met with his disciples, and he said to them, "As the Father sent me, I am sending you." Jesus encourages all of us to go and share the amazing news of Easter. It's a message that this world so desperately needs to hear, because people have so many fears. Throughout their lives, they have so many things that they're afraid of. This coronavirus is really just the latest of fears that people deal with. And all of those fears ultimately lead to the fear of death. And what happens after you die? You'll have to perhaps pay for the things you did in this life. People need to hear that good news of Jesus. Hear that Jesus Christ died, but then came back to life. How he died an innocent death that paid for all of their sins. And how his resurrection means that their salvation has been won. There is life even beyond the grave. This is a message that Jesus said to his disciples that they should share. As he met with his friends again and again over the next 40 days, he said, "Now you are my witnesses." And that's what he says to us, that we are his witnesses. You may say, "Well, how can I do that? I'm supposed to not leave the house. Or if I do, I'm supposed to wear a mask and stay 6 feet apart from people." Standing in the grocery store, shouting to be heard over a distance, that's not really conducive to having a religious conversation. But you are talking to people on the telephone. If you are watching this video, you figured out either the internet or Facebook. You have ways that you communicate with people, and you can share the good news of Easter. When you're talking with someone about the restrictions that we have and how tough it is to do things today, share also the good news of Easter and what joy that gives you in the midst of all of these trials. When you're talking to somebody who's afraid of the virus, afraid of illness, afraid of dying, tell them that Jesus rose from the dead and that there is life after death for all of us who trust in him. When you're talking to someone who maybe is concerned about their job or the economy, you can say that Jesus rose from the dead, and that means that God is in charge of all things, no matter how bleak it may seem. Yes, Easter is a message that we can share. We can share again and again with all other people. Jesus told his first followers, "You will be my witnesses," and that applies to you and me today too. Yes, what a message we have to tell the world. God bless you as you share the good news of Easter.